Okay, because exactly what Nigerians, because of the legislative procedures now, a lot of Nigerians may not be aware of what your guidelines says about how these things can happen. If, for example, there is any change to be made in that document, which of course, as soon as it gets into your hands, it becomes a bill. Which is in the process of becoming a law.
Yeah.
Is because there's a lot of legalities surrounding it.
Yeah.
So tell us, put us through how that procedure from executive to the legislature, how the executive may want to ask for a change in that document.
Yes, certainly, I must let Nigerians know that each time there's a communication from Mr. President, it is written to the Speaker and to the Senate. And when it comes to the floor of the House of Representatives or the Senate, Mr. President, the Speaker will now read message from Mr. President, and that will be read on the floor of the House. It's no longer a secretive matter because the activities of the legislature is always in the open, not just in the chamber. Even when we conduct our committee activities, it is being presided over, and it is made known. People are asked to debate on it, to begin to contribute. And so the president, if he has, he will write to the House, and if he writes to the House, it's constitutionally okay because the document emanated from the executive, and you feel that this proposal you want to amend it, we will now discuss it and make some amendments.
All right. We understand that the president is in the process of writing or he has written. Has the National Assembly received any communication from the presidency about any change in the 2016 budget proposal?
As I speak, when we adjourn the House on Thursday, I haven't had any message from Mr. President from the House, and even up to Friday, I have not had anything. So I also read it in the pages of newspapers that the president has written. Of course, I have not had that, and I cannot say anything authoritative about that, truly speaking.
A lot of people are shown their emotions and feelings about the current issues about the missing. Of course, the senator said there's nothing missing, but let me allow Nigerians or viewers wherever you may be watching to get an understanding of what transpired also on the floor of the House of Representatives and of course at the Senate. This was what the speaker said at that moment when that issue came on the floor. Okay, all right, we'll give you that particular that soundbite as soon as it's ready. But again, let me come to you. With all of these things, a lot of Nigerians says, why would this kind of thing happen? We perhaps have not seen it in the last few years, since 1999. This is perhaps the first time this kind of situation is happening under the APC government. Does this show some level of discord between your party?
I think there's smooth relationship between us and the executive, as I said before. Don't forget that both the Senate and the House of Representatives, the majority is APC. I am also APC. I came under the platform of the APC. We have been working very closely with the president, and that was why I cited an example. The first budget Mr. President submitted, the supplementary budget, he submitted to us. We treated it with dispatch, and nothing was missing. And when issues came, we were able to identify. We agree that subsidy should be paid. All the things that was in that budget contained, we actually debated and we passed it.
All right. So, sorry, I understand that the soundbite from the Senate President. Let's listen to what he said about the issue of the missing budget, presented by the President Muhammadu Buhari, which states that, in fact, if there's going to be any difference, we will be noting from what I'm going to be showing you now. The oil benchmark in that 2016 budget proposal was $38 per barrel. Of course, the production estimate of oil in that budget was estimated to be for 2.2 million barrels per day. And also, the domestic borrowing was put at 984 billion naira. Foreign borrowing, 900 billion naira. Total borrowing is put at 1.84 trillion. And a proposed 9% reduction in non-debt recurrent expenditure. And there's a proposal of a 300 billion naira for special intervention programs. Well, these are some of the issues. But Honorable Namdas, if you take a look at this, okay, this is actually a lowdown of some of the differences that are allegedly going to be over a new document which people were saying that has surfaced. For example, they're saying that the controversy over the replacement of the original budget, which now says that there may be an additional or a change in the Federal Ministry of Works, Power and Housing budget proposal. Old capital allocation was put at 282 billion, while the new one is 334 billion. And they say that the proposal, the alleged proposal budget for BMW cars was 3.63 billion. It's now been reduced, we understand, to 340 million naira. And now we also hear that there's an addition of 3.9 billion for annual routine maintenance of Aso Rock facilities in the new budget, which of course we understand maybe letter to that effect for a change. And they also proposed budget for wildlife conservation in the State House reduced from 326 million to 115 million naira. Also extra funds for the staff to the president, security officer, State House clinic, and all of that. These are some of the possible changes. And we all even understand that the oil benchmark may have changed. What would be your reactions to these?
Certainly, let me just say something. On this oil benchmark, it must not remain at $38 per barrel. Because when we get into discussion, we are already aware that even IMF said it could come down to as low as $20 per barrel. But again, we have another hope, because when the Minister of State for Petroleum said that America is interested in buying part of our oil in order to boost the market, that is possible. There is possibility that this thing can still come up. Now, we will not just say it will remain like that, but we will discuss as when we get to the time, we will get discussion, we get views of people, experts and what have you, we get to know at which benchmark this thing will be approved.
One of the major crux of the Nigerian budget is usually the oil and its benchmark. Of course, we know if there is going to be a change or the proposal, there will be sort of dislocation in some of the figures, don't you think?
No, I think we have this year. This is the first time the budget is done with much attention on the non-oil sector. Because even Mr. President is talking about diversifying the economy, working seriously on solid minerals, thinking of how agriculture will come on board. And therefore, we are also even talking, I even had cause to sponsor a motion in the House last year. Part of it was that, look, let us look at how we generate revenue from the non-oil sector. There was a time we had in papers that 2 trillion was lost as a result of from non-oil sector. And we know that by the time we block leakages in respect to collecting revenue from non-oil sector, it's capable of even funding our budget. But because we are used to having everything on oil, that's why our attention is always focused on oil. But we are so blessed that when with diversification of the economy and real intentions, things could improve.